Welcome students for this third lecture on power quality. In this lecture we will talk about the applications of power electronic to improve the power quality in power distribution network. This is quite interesting that the power electronic based loads create problem in the power system. They degrade the quality of the power. At the same time, we use same power electronic based systems to improve the quality in form of various compensators. So in this discussion, we will know these power electronic based controllers and what is their configuration, how do they improve the power quality. If you recall the history of the power system, it started in 1880 with the beginning of a DC power system, which was strongly advocated by Thomas Alva Edison. He invented the DC battery, and he and his group thought that this will be used, or this can be used to develop a power system to supply the electricity in remote areas. Obviously, the DC power system was simple to visualize. It deals with the real quantities, voltage and current, resistance, and so on. However, its transmission was limited to couple of miles distance of transmission network. At the same time, there was AC power system which was advocated by Nikola Tesla. He invented three-phase AC machine, and before that the transformer was invented as a application of Faraday's law of induction. So as you know, this AC power system involves the alternating voltage and currents, and it has both the real and reactive quantities. Harmonics, unbalance, transients, transient stability, steady state stability, blackout, brownout. There are many issues related to the AC power system, and these becomes more challenging when the various AC systems are being pulled on a common grid. Looking into these aspects, AC power system was flexible because you can change the voltage level. We can step up the voltage and we can step down the voltage depending upon the requirement. And this is done in order to improve the efficiency of the overall system. Okay. Now, due to the growing demand of the wide variety of load, the transmission lines are increasingly stressed to maintain the stability margin and the reliability factors. On the other hand, the distribution side, if you look, it is subjected to the problem of the unbalanced load, poor power factor, harmonics, transient, etc. So at both level, we need correction devices for better, reliable, fast and flexible control of the power. And for that, we need some compensators, some devices which can give better dynamic performance, or which can take care of these changes in the AC network. And these devices are called the compensating devices. They are broadly classified into two main categories. Okay. The first one is the fixed devices here. The second one is the custom power devices. The fixed devices are called as flexible AC transmission system, and they use basically power electronic controllers. So inside these devices are the converters, which consist of the power electronic switches like GTOs, thyristors, MOSFETs, IGBTs, etc. These fixed devices serve the transmission network in order to improve the power transfer, the loadability of transmission line, and to work under urgencies. The custom power devices, on the other hand side, are used in distribution network. So the difference between these two devices in terms of the applications to transmission network and to distribution network. However, the concept is same, that both of these employ the power electronic based controllers. Since the custom power devices are used on the distribution side, so these controllers work in a medium voltage distribution range, medium voltage level. And the whole idea of using these devices is to provide the quality of power that is needed by electrical power customers sensitive to power quality variations. Again, inside these devices we do have the static switches, inverters, converters, injection transformers, filters, master control modules, and so on. Now, these fixed and custom power devices are specific to network, as I said, because fixed devices are used for transmission network and the custom devices are used for the distribution network. Accordingly, the rating of the power controllers, power electronic based controllers, changes. In this course, we will focus on the custom power devices. Okay? And these custom power devices can be also called as active power filters. Okay? So they can be also called as active power filters. So I can write here active power filters. Which mostly include the DStatCom, which is called distribution static compensator, distribution static compensator, and DVR is called dynamic voltage restorer, or UPQC. We will learn it later, unified power quality conditioner, and so on. The main purpose of these mitigating devices is basically to improve the power factor, harmonic elimination, unbalance and load mitigation, voltage sag swell interruption mitigation, voltage transient mitigation, and flicker mitigation, and many other factors. These are the main objectives in distribution network, and therefore these custom power devices are designed to address these issues. Main purpose of these devices is to improve the power quality. So we will ask that what are the main objectives in terms of the current and voltage improvement and hence power improvement, and how they are related to their nature of devices like shunt, series, or their combinations. Broadly speaking, in fact, all devices, not only custom power device, even the FACS devices, can be classified into two broad categories. The one is shunt devices here, and the second is series devices, and third, if you want, could be shunt and series device. It will be the combination of the shunt and series. In case of shunt devices, the main objectives are load balancing, power factor correction, harmonic elimination, and voltage regulation is as a consequence. This is not the main objective, but as a consequence there is an improvement in the voltage. On the other hand side, the complementary to the shunt devices are the series devices. Obviously, as the name indicates, the series devices are connected in series with the load, and they can also be called as series active power filter. Okay, series active power filter, or you can say D-state COM in a voltage control mode also. These are also called as dynamic voltage restorer, which improves the voltage at the load bus. And the main objectives of the series devices are voltage regulation and elimination of voltage harmonics or any kind of interruption. This is a structure of the D-state COM. Now, D-state COM, as I said, the name is distribution static compensator. So basically, this is the compensator which consists of static devices, which basically means power electronic based switches, and D for in distribution side. Its counterpart in passive structure is called passive filter. Passive filter is one which does not use any active device inside. Active filter is one which use the active device inside, like voltage source inverter, which uses the power electronic devices. So this active power filter basically uses the power electronic controller inside here, and this is being supported by a DC link, VDC, and there are some filters here, this part, which condition the shape of the current at the point of common coupling, so that the source current remains in phase with the voltage and also sinusoidal in nature. In passive filter, we use tuned LC filters. Obviously, for each frequency, these filters have to be designed, which means the more requirement of the space, bulky size, more noisy, and less adaptive, because when the parameters changes of the in the load, then again these filters have to be retuned. So obviously active power filters are more flexible, more adaptable in improvement of the power quality, and they respond quick to the fast changing situations on the load side. Therefore, we see the DStatecom consists of the power converter, DC storage capacitor, here interfacing inductors or filters, which is connected to the point of common coupling to inject the required current. Now, we will try to classify these power converter topologies. As I said that we use the different types of converters. I have used the term inverter here, but actually converter will be a better word, because the power flow can take from this to this side. So it can act as a rectifier, and it can also act as an inverter. So hence we will use the term voltage source converter. Now, as the name indicates, voltage source, so the source is the voltage, therefore we use capacitor as an energy storing device. In case of the current source converter, we will use inverter as the inductor as a energy storing device. So depending on the applications, we can use either the voltage source converter or we can use current source converter. They have their own advantage and disadvantages. For example, the current source converters are more reliable and more fault tolerant. They are well suited for accurate control. However, they have higher losses and they have higher cost as well. Therefore, voltage source converters are preferred over the current source converters because they are more efficient and they have a far lower initial cost than the current source converters. Now, based on this discussion, we can look into the classification of active power filters, okay, or you can say custom power devices in general. So, based on the supply, we can classify into three categories. The one is called single phase supply system, and the second one three phase supply system, and the fourth one is three phase 4-wire supply system. Okay. Now, in three phase supply system, if you see, we have delta connected load and we have a star connected load. Okay, we have a delta connected load and star connected load. And in case of the three phase 4-wire supply, we may also have star and delta connected, but mostly it is a star connected and the star neutral is grounded along the path which connects to the ground somewhere on the line. Active power filter topology based classification can also be made. Here you can see, based on either the shunt active power filter we can have, or we can have a series active power filter, or series active and shunt passive power filter is called hybrid filter, and unified power conditioner is called UPQC. Also, we can classify based on the converter types. As I said, the voltage source converter or the current source converter or hybrid, that is be involved the combination of the voltage source and current source converters. We will have just look over these devices, topologies, to understand what they mean. So you can see it here that the shunt active power filter is basically a voltage source converter here, supported by a DC link and some filter components L or C to condition the output of this inverter to the desired value of current or voltage. And these current together are such that the IS is perfectly sinusoidal and in phase with the voltage or desired power factor with the source. So they are mainly used for distribution network centers, and they are mostly used to eliminate the harmonics due to the nonlinear load or any kind of unbalance or the compensation of the reactive power. Series active power filter, as the name indicates, are connected in series with the load. You can see it here. This is the series connected transformer. The secondary of the transformer is connected in series with the line, and the primary of the transformer is being excited by the output of the inverter by way of switching, and hence by using proper filter components we have an output voltage BF in such a way that the voltage at the load bus is always maintained in the given limits. Okay. So this device is called as DVR or dynamic voltage restorer. Hybrid active power filter is combination of the active power filter and the shunt passive filter, as you can see from this diagram. So this is used when we want to reduce the rating of the whole system and the cost of the whole system. Active power filters are normally costlier than the passive filters. So therefore, to reduce the cost of these active power filters, we design them at the reduced rating, and the base compensation is being transferred to the passive filter. So passive filter will take care of the base compensation and the active filter will take care of the dynamic compensation. And another device of the custom power is unified power quality conditioner. So as the name indicates, it is the unified, means it can compensate the voltage and current together. So therefore it is combination of the shunt active and series active, supported by a common DC link here, supported by the filter components which are required to shape the waveform of the voltage and current. Okay. However, its control is quite complex because there is a single DC link and there are two inverters. So the control of the inverters requires significant coordination between the two and their operation. Now you have learnt the basic ideas about the compensators, mostly the power electronic based controllers, and you have seen their configurations, their nature, what they consist of, and what are their different topologies. Now one question may come to your mind, well, it is okay that we switch the inverters, converters to realize certain value of voltage and currents in the power system, but how do we know that which amount of voltage and current have to be generated or have to be realized in power system. So for that there are some formulations, there are some theories which are used to extract the reference parameters. In power system there are reference voltage and reference currents. These techniques are called as the techniques or control schemes or control techniques to formulate the reference parameters, and they are listed in the slide starting from average and sampling techniques, the first one. The second one is FFT technique. So averaging and sampling techniques are mostly used for control of the fundamental quantities or the compensation at the fundamental level, fundamental frequency level. Mostly they are not useful for harmonics. The fast Fourier transform techniques are used to extract the harmonic components, and then to compensate them we inject the reverse of these components in the system. The third method is the capacitor error voltage in PI controller. So here the reference quantity of the current is being generated through mechanism of capacitor error voltage and PI controller. Another well-known formulations are instantaneous reactive power theory called PQ theory, that we will study more in detail in the coming lectures. The generalized reactive power theory is basically extension of this, and then theory of symmetrical component, very elegant technique to compensate the load and find out the reference quantities, and also synchronous reference frame theory or called DQ theory. Some of these theories you would have studied in your previous classes, some you will be doing in your project activities or research activities. Okay. In this discussion we cannot cover all the theories, but we will focus on certain which are important to us, more generic theories for that. So there are theories, there are formulations which are used to extract the reference value of the voltage or current, and these reference value are given to the compensator, and then we switch the compensator in such a way that the actual quantity is closer to these reference values. Now once we know this aspect, we will come to some more interesting feature, that the topologies, the actual topologies of the converters which are used in power quality improvement as an application. Okay. And these controllers, these converters basically uses the power electronic switches, as I told in the beginning. We will see them, what are the different configurations. This picture shows an ideal compensator. Why this is an ideal compensator? Because we have represented the reference current as the actual currents. So these reference current are being extracted from the control theories, and we say that these same currents are realized by this compensator, as if we have a ideal current source. Like we have an ideal voltage source, we can have an ideal current source. So for D-state complications, the ideal current source makes an ideal compensator. So these currents are being injected at the point of common coupling such that the source currents should remain sinusoidal of fundamental frequency and in desired phase angle with their voltages. So what are the topologies of this compensator? There are many three-phase, three-wire compensator topologies of the power converter which are used for the compensation. In this picture is shown the three-phase, three-leg topology with three DC storage capacitors. This makes the common choice, a very common choice for three H-bridge independent H-bridge converters, H-bridge inverters supported by the each DC link capacitors. So you can see it here, that here this is one DC link for this bridge, and this is the second one for this bridge, and this is the third one for this bridge. Okay. So here the problem is this, that there are three DC capacitors. It becomes difficult to maintain their voltage to the reference value in order to faithfully compensate the desired component of the current. So it's very difficult to regulate the capacitor voltages. Also, it uses 12 switches. So this topology is not suitable for the compensation. The next important topology, inverter topology used for compensation, is basically three independent single phase BSI supplied from a common DC storage capacitor. So each phase is independent. If we look at here, okay. So we look at here, this is one, and this is the second one. This is the third one. Now they are sharing a common DC link here, and this goes to the point of common coupling PCC to supply the current IFA, IFB and IFC. While this topology is providing isolation between the inverter legs by using the transformers. This is required because for certain combination of switches, the DC link capacitor get shorted. However, because of the presence of the transformer, this topology is not suitable for the compensation of the loads containing DC component, because when they flow in transformer, they saturate transformer and the scheme won't work out. So whenever there is a AC component, this topology can be used, and it is intended that the isolation is required between the power circuit, between the converter circuit and the power circuit. Then this topology can be used. Another topology of the inverter is called three-phase, three-leg topology. Okay, this is three-phase, three-leg topology. So it uses three phases, as you can see. This is one phase, this is second phase, and this is the third phase. There is no fourth wire for the neutral which goes into the compensator. The neutral wire of the load, if there is, it goes back to the system neutral. You can see it here. It goes to the system neutral. And therefore, the zero sequence currents are not compensated in this case. So for three-phase, four-wire system, this is not ideal topology for compensation. To overcome this effect, we provide the neutral clamped inverter topology. Now, as the name indicates, that there is a neutral which is being clamped to the load neutral and the system neutral. So there are two DC storage capacitors, and the midpoint of this DC capacitor is being connected to the neutral of the load and the neutral of the source. And the rest things are same. There are three independent legs through neutral. So their independency is through neutral. And each phase is connected to the system phase through interface inductance and small resistance of this inductor. This is called RF and LF. The topology does not use the isolation transformer, and therefore it can be used to compensate even the DC offset in the load currents. However, there is a problem for balancing these two DC capacitors to some reference value. Otherwise, the compensation will not be proper if they are not maintained at the reference value. So to overcome this, there is another topology is called neutral clamped inverter chopper topology. So the function of chopper is actually to balance the charge of these two capacitors or balance the voltage of these two capacitors and maintain them close to the reference value. Okay. So what happens in this topology, if this capacitor is in higher voltage and this is in lower voltage, then through this action of S7 and D8 or S8 and D7, we transfer the extra charge from VC1 to VC2, or vice versa from VC to VC1 if the VC2 is having more voltage. So in this way, by using this chopper circuit, we can balance the two capacitor voltage near to reference value, and therefore the compensation quality, the compensation characteristic is ensured in this case. The problem of capacitor voltage drift is avoided using the chopper circuit. Of course, there are 8 switches, 3 are this side, 2 are this side. So slightly complex control than 3-phase 3-wire topology, but it can handle the DC load as well as the balancing of two DC capacitor voltages. Another interesting topology is 3-phase 4-leg topology. As the name indicates, is for 3-phase system. So there are 3 phase 1, 2, 3, and the 4th leg is for the neutral. So there are 4 legs. So 3 phase and 1 is the neutral leg. So become 4 leg. This neutral is connected to the neutral of the system, this side, and the neutral of the load. So using the 4th leg, the current is tracked to prevent any current to flow in the neutral of the supply, and hence this neutral current is 0. So I can say I and N equal to 0. And these currents are ensured sinusoidal currents in phase or in a desired power factor relationship with the voltages. Okay. Obviously, there are 4 legs, and the 4th leg makes the proxy for the neutral. So there are harmonics in NN path in this path, and therefore tracking for this current is extremely difficult. It needs an inverter of very high bandwidth. So this not only increases the cost but also the switching losses. Okay, and then apart from these devices, there is series compensating device called dynamic voltage restorer. So I will briefly describe about it, how it works. Now, as I said, the dynamic voltage restorer also consists of the voltage source inverter coupled by a DC link, and it generates certain voltage at the primary of the transformer. The secondary of the transformer is connected in series. So you can see in this diagram, this is the system and this is the fault, and load is somewhere here. Okay, and this load is to have a clean supply at its terminal in spite of the disturbance taking place here. So you can see that for few cycles the voltage has come down, and then again the voltage has become normal. So to compensate this, we must immediately inject the voltage of this magnitude. So this plus this becomes the supply to the load, critical load. So supply is not affected even during the disturbance. Okay, so this is the dynamic voltage restorer. The configuration is same as I explained earlier. It consists of the voltage source inverter supported by DC link and some filter components. We can also understand it by this phasor diagram. As you can see here, that this is the load voltage, and during the fault the voltage has come down to this level. So we need to increase voltage again to this value. This is the load current. So we inject the voltage at 90 degree to the line current. Okay, so without taking any real power, in fact all the compensators are implemented on the simple concept that the real power should not be manipulated, it should not be disturbed, and this is achieved by injecting the voltage in phase quadrature with the current. So you can see this voltage which is being injected, this voltage is in phase quadrature with the current, and hence there is no real power loss. I have not mentioned this, but there is a fourth category of devices which belong to custom power devices. Okay, if you recall that I said custom power devices. Okay, I mostly put in the form of shunt, active shunt power filter, then I put series, then shunt and series, UPQC, and then the last one is called network reconfiguring devices. Okay, this is called network, I'll put it here, star, network configuration devices. These devices like solid state circuit breakers or solid state transfer switch belong to the fourth category of custom power devices called network reconfiguration or configuration devices. This is example of the device which is called solid state circuit breaker or solid state breaker. Okay. Why this is called solid state? Because this consists of solid state devices like the GTOs, or you can say SCRs. silicon controlled rectifier switch. So these make together the solid state circuit breaker. How this is operating? This operates on the principle of the firing of the GTOs in alternative half cycles, because there are two GTO switches and they are connected in anti-parallel. Okay, they are connected in anti-parallel so that they can carry the current in both directions. So this carries current from this to this direction, and this carries current from this to this direction. So during the normal operation, the GTOs allows the flow of rated current to the load. During the fault, the circuit has to be opened. So during the fault, there is some auto reclosing of this GTO switch to ensure that it is really fault. Once it is confirmed that there is a fault, then these electronic switches or commands are given to the gates of these GTOs to make circuit off. Now once the GTO switches begins to become off, the snubber circuit across them develops the voltage. So slowly the voltage across these points starts rising, and the maximum value of this voltage is clamped by zinc oxide arrestor. Okay, so this makes B max, it limits the voltage to B max. Now once the voltage has gone to B max in a short period, then the current across this line starts increasing because there is a inductor here. So for a given voltage, the current starts increasing. Okay, and then once currents reach to the maximum value limited by value of this L, then gradually these SCR switches are turned off, and slowly the current becomes zero. Okay, that's how the whole solid state circuit breaker operates. So there are three important elements: the GTO, the SCR, and there is a ZNO arrestor that make possible this circuit breaker operation for the solid state switches. Okay, the similar device is also used for static transfer switch. This is called STS. The name is STS, static transfer switch, or you can say solid state transfer switch. The whole idea of this scheme is to provide the load supply reliably without any disturbance. So suppose there are two sources, one is the primary source and second is the alternative source, secondary source, and there is some fault takes place on the primary side, then this switch is being opened. Okay, this is direct supply. This switch is closed normally because the power comes through this production fuse like this. When the fault takes place, this has to be switched off and this has to be switched on in a short period of time. Okay, so once this is off, then current start flowing through this for a short while, and finally it is slowly transferred to this switch later on, continuous switch. So these units can be used to transfer the power very quickly from one source to the another without disturbing the load operation. Okay, hence the solid state transfer switches allows the fast transfer of the power. So with this we have discussed the wide range of the compensating devices to mitigate power quality problems. We realize that the modern compensators are basically power electronic based controllers which are quite fast and accurate in operation. And these are classified in two main categories, FACS and custom. And custom had different devices, send series and combination of send and series, and also network reconfiguring devices. Okay. So in the next class we will discuss about the single phase systems, and we start understanding the different power components, terms and definitions which will be useful to analyze single phase circuits, and those concepts will also be extended for three phase circuits. See you again in the next class.